All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's Coffee with the Principal. So glad you're joining us today. Hard to believe we've only got 3 more of these left today, and then May 27th, and then June 3rd, and then June 3rd will be our last Coffee with the Principal, as it will be the 10th will be our culmination date. So 3 more of these. All right. But thank you so much for taking the time to join with me this morning. Just as a reminder, you've joined the meeting muted. Feel free to use the chat as needed. We're recording. You're welcome to keep your video on if you'd like to. We'll get to Q&A. There's a lot of announcements, so I'll hit everything as quickly as I can so we can have time for Q&A. But if there's no questions, we won't belabor it until 9:30. But we do have that time together. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us. And as you know, we are in the final stretches of school. And so many of our students are feeling this way when there's only 15 more school days remaining, including today. So there is that feeling going around our campus, as well as most campuses this year as we approach the end. This week we did lots of different things, but one of the things we did yesterday was we celebrated our 8th graders, and the 8th graders got to participate in like a barbecue, brought some food, some potluck, had a great time together for all 8th graders. That was a great way to connect as we approach towards the end of the year. So thank you those families who joined us for that. Thank you families who contributed to the potluck. That always makes a big difference. This past week, we finished our first week of spring state testing. The kids did a rock star job. What we encouraged them to do is to really take their time to show their work. We asked our teachers to kind of keep track as to who was doing that, because students who take their time and show their work, we're going to give them an opportunity to slime Mr. Hunsberger. We bought some slime and some goggles, and I don't know why I agreed to that, but they're going to have the opportunity to slime me in just a couple of weeks as they have taken their time and showed their work with the test. So this past week, 6th graders did ELA and 8th graders did ELA, and our 7th graders did mathematics. This coming week, it'll be swapped. Our 6th graders and 8th graders will do mathematics, and our 7th graders will do ELA. And then after Memorial Day, our 8th graders do science. So again, thank you for partnering in this way. Keep ensuring your child gets a good night's sleep and eats breakfast. Thank you for not scheduling appointments on those days. Afternoon appointments are okay because we're done by testing with lunchtime, but no appointments is best. Thank you for having your children charge their Chromebooks, and thank you for those of you who've gone through and actually done a practice test with your kiddos. There's still time to do that, but go ahead and do that. One of the things I want to give a shout out to is Miss Dunklin, who's been our testing coordinator, and she is making sure everything is going smoothly. She's also helping with makeup, so we know that there are some students who, through no fault of their own, have been absent this week. So Ms. Dunklin will be having those kids come out of one of their classes next week to make up what they may have missed this week. So that's happening. All right. And then one more old announcement that I'll share here is that LAUSD is providing a year of free internet for qualified households. You can find out more information by calling 213-443-1300 or visiting device.lausd.net/connect, and there'll be more information about that. Okay, a couple of announcements that are new and some old mixing here, but I'll try to go in order. One is this: if you go to our website and you haven't been in a couple days, you'll get a pop-up message, and what it says is that our spring tours have concluded. We've done tours per prospective families, but we do now have a live online interactive virtual tour. It's very cool. I encourage you, even if you're an 8th grade family and we'll be gone after this year, to go there and to check it out. It's like a video, and you click on it and there's messages from each of the teachers, and you can literally click your way around the school and inside the classrooms too. And I want to give a shout out to all our teachers who made that happen. And I encourage you, if you have friends who are still thinking about, what middle school to go to, there's not an in-person tours anymore, but there is this virtual tour, and you can get to it from our website. Just as a reminder, this Saturday is our Black Student Achievement Plan Family Day here at the school from 11 to 1. So if you haven't RSVP'd for that, you can go ahead and do that at the QR code right there. It's also at bit.ly/BSAP RSVP, and that's on Saturday. Couple other things that are coming up. One is this month is Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And one of the things that we want to honor is the traditions and culture, celebrating the beauty of the AAPI community. And next Friday, so a week from today, we'll have an opportunity for kiddos to engage in an outdoor activity from like in the afternoon, right before school lets out. And there are some families who are donating some food or beverages to that. So if you're interested in helping us out with that, reach out to Miss Alejandre, who coordinates this, as well as a bunch of other of our events. She does a rock star job at that. And her email's in the chat. So that'll be next Friday. Let's see. Okay, this is another cool opportunity for our 7th and 8th grade girls. So many or most of you know that our 7th and 8th grade girls have participated in a mentorship group this year called EmpowHer. Our 7th and 8th grade boys participate in something called Inspiration 52, but this announcement is about EmpowHer. So EmpowHer is putting together a social justice STEAM camp this summer that's 3 weeks long. It's 1 week it's overnight, 1 week at Catalina, and then 2 weeks at USC. Super cool. And it is provided completely free of charge. It is very limited in nature. It's being run for only 25 students in the whole program. We're one school of probably about, I don't know, a dozen or so schools that participate within EmpowHer. So they're trying to get 25 girls, program wide to be able to participate in this really cool summer camp. So did the math on that. That probably averages about 1 or 2 per school. So if your child is interested in that and you're interested in that for your 7th or 8th grade girl, there's an application for that. I put the link in the chat. It's also there, bit.ly/EmpowHer application. And if you've got any more questions about that, you can email Kiana Keith directly. Her email's in the bottom left of the screen, kiana@empowher.org. So that is a super cool opportunity for a very limited number of students in the Los Angeles area. And I hope that some of our families at least take the time to apply to that. All right, speaking of other opportunities, wanted to share this one with you. And unfortunately, this is just for 7th grade families. 8th graders, it's, you are probably in the process of landing on your high school already. But one of the options that families in the Southern California region consider for high schools for their children are something called independent schools. And that is a category of schools that are available to kids in LA that are essentially private schools that are not religious. So not Catholic schools, but private schools that are not religious. So there's independent schools, there's Catholic schools, those are private schools, and then there are public schools, LA, district operated schools, and then charter schools that are authorized by a district but operated separately. So the Independent School Alliance is a nonprofit organization that works with specifically minority students to help place them and help them apply to an independent school for high school. It's a year-long process. And if there are 7th grade families interested in considering an independent school for their child for high school, there's been some information sessions about this. One of those information sessions is coming up this Tuesday at 6 in the evening at the Curtis School. I spoke to these folks yesterday, and they may actually be doing it virtually as well. So I've put the link in the chat if there are 7th grade families who are interested in learning more or signing up to learn more about that. There's the link in the chat. It's also here on the screen, bit.ly/3 UNT3 capital S lowercase n. Caps matter in bit.ly. So if you're interested in that and learning more about possibly learning more about an independent school for high school, I would encourage you to sign up to attend one of those info sessions. All right, our 7th and 8th grade formal is coming up on June 3rd. So we've rented out the great room and the Center Point Club down in the hill in Playa Vista from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Students must be eligible, meet the grade level eligibility requirements in order to apply to that. I'm sorry, not in order to apply, in order to attend that. More information can be found on Schoology, not on Schoology, on Class Dojo, but also on from Miss Alejandre regarding that, including how to pay for that, what the dress code is, but it'll be a really, really nice event for our 7th and 8th graders on June 3rd. So that's 2 weeks away. On June 8th, we are excited to welcome back Miss Faye Mandell, LCSW, to lead an in-person parent workshop here at the school. So if you remember a couple months ago, she led some Zoom workshops for parenting in middle school aged students. She's going to be here in person on June 8th from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Here at the school in our conference room, and she'll be leading a workshop on personal safety, which is super important for parents of all students, but particularly middle school students and elementary school students, as you know, there are a lot of dangers out there in the world, and we want to empower our young people and families to make the best decisions for their kids for safeties. That is really important in middle school because developmentally, middle schoolers are at an age where it is very, very appropriate to start giving students more independence than they had when they were elementary school age. So Miss Mandell is really good at sort of parsing out the differences here. And so we encourage you to come on June 8th from 4 to 5 p.m. We ask you to RSVP at bit.ly/KJ Safety, just so that we have a sense as to how many folks are coming, whether the conference room will be big enough for that. So we encourage you to check that out. All right, one of the other things, I told you there's lots of stuff going on. It's cool though. One of the things that we are doing at the end of this year, the last week of school, is all of our students are going to be reflecting over the next 3 weeks about their learning for the year. And that's a really important piece of who we are as a school. We want kids not just to like input facts, figures, information. We want them to critically think about what they're learning, but also how they themselves have succeeded, overcome challenges in that learning. So all of our students will be completing and working on something called a presentation of learning, where they reflect on, where they choose a piece of schoolwork that they were really proud of this year, and they present that and they reflect on their own learning about that. We're going to do that at every grade level. 6th and 7th graders, they're going to create theirs and then essentially record a video of them explaining it that our teachers will look at after the fact. But our 8th graders, they're going to present their presentations of learning live in our conference room. And so the way that we're going to do that is each 8th grader, once they've put together their presentation of learning, will come into the conference room with about 4 or 5 other 8th graders, and they'll all take turns presenting their learning in about 10 minutes or so to a panel. And that panel consists of the 4 or 5 other students who are there, plus about 2 teachers, plus a representative from LMU, plus a couple of community members from local businesses and organizations, plus, and here's the kicker, plus we would love it if there were some family members, 1 or 2 parents who would love to be a part of this panel for our young people. So what I'm asking is if there are between 2 and 6 parents who are willing to come and be on the parent panel for a couple of the time slots on June 7th and June 8th for our 8th graders to present. Now, the one stipulation is this, to make things fair and equitable. If you're an 8th grade parent and you want to do this, that's totally fine. But I'm going to ask you to choose we're going to make sure that your own child is not on a presentation slot that you are part of the panel with. So that adds a little bit of a slightly different element to it, that what we want to do is we want to make sure that they're not presenting right there in front of mom or dad or grandma or grandpa. They can present to you at home later on. But still, if you would like to join us in this way, 7th grade parents, 6th grade parents, 8th grade parents, we'd love to have your participation in this way. You can see the actual list of slots available at the website. That's right there. I'm going to put it in the chat real quick. KJSA parent panelist. Sorry, I didn't have this preloaded. All right. Basically 2 days, Tuesday, June 7th, Wednesday, June 8th. There's a 90-minute slot. You can do just 1 slot if you want to. You could do 2 slots in a row. That would be super helpful, and I know would be deeply meaningful to our young people, as they'll have audience members in the room who are deeply invested and care about their education. All right, a couple updates. We are continuing with our weekly COVID testing. I shared with you last week, we had, I think this number was 8. Most of those people are all back now and doing just fine. Currently, we have 1 positive case among staff and students. They are at home isolating, and they'll be back shortly. Our students continue to test every week. Please, we have a schedule, and our teachers send our students to test every single week or every single Friday. There's a specific time slot that the teacher sends the kids to test. Please also, ask your child when they got home, did you test today? And remind them in the morning on Fridays, make sure you test today. And the reason I say that is because we've had a couple of instances where kids either forgot to test or didn't think they had to, or were absent a couple Fridays in a row. And so they got put on a disallowed list, and they actually had to miss school until they went and got their COVID PCR test at like Audubon or a different place. So don't wait on that. So they should, and make sure, everybody's in the habit of like, okay, it comes up negative every week, but like actually check it every single week, just, to make sure that you're looking at the result. All right. As always, a lot of families find us in lots of different ways, but one of the ways that they do that is through Grade Schools. So if you haven't done so already, I encourage you to just take a moment and leave a review on Grade Schools. And with that said, I am going to go ahead and stop the share and see what questions folks might have as we come to the end of our time together. What questions do folks have? All right. Well, if there are no questions, then we'll wrap it up. As always, you'll have my email on Class Dojo as well. Feel free to reach out to me if you have questions, comments, concerns, and I look forward to seeing you all next Friday. Have a great Friday, have a great weekend, and we'll see everybody next week. Bye-bye.